Hello, YouTube. One day removed from Royal Rumble last night, and we are officially on the first night on the road to WrestleMania 41. This is the video where we talk about the predictions and the Rumble itself. We're going to break down every match. We're going to talk a little bit about it. I'm not going to try to make this a super long video, but we are going to be discussing what we liked, what we didn't like. We're going to describe the matches itself as a star system. We're going to give each match a star system. We're not going to be like Dave Meltzer and, be shy from the elusive 5-star match. But in my opinion, spoiler alert, I don't think there was a 5-star match last night.
Oh, let's make sure that everyone understands. Here you go.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I retained on a technicality, on the champion's advantage. I know it's a cheap victory, but it's a victory nonetheless. I do wish, however, I will mention this now before I get too far into it. I kind of hoped John Cena was going to win it because I was going to start this video with the champ is here, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But yes, I won on a technicality, on a tie between me and Andrew. Brian had lost it when DIY retained the tag team championships. Again, we will get into that in just a few moments. But I am approaching a year with this title. The Elimination Chamber next month will be my 1-year mark with the championship. So if I retain, I will hold this title for a year's time. So hopefully more defenses and more successful retentions of the title. I do want to mention that Brian will be joining us for Mania, for the predictions video on Mania. We do plan on hopefully trying to make a watch video, a live watch video for Mania. That way you can get a feel for how we, our humor for WWE when we're watching it, what we say. I'm going to have to figure out all the little tidbits of copyright and what I can show, what I can't show, what can be heard, what can't be heard, everything like that. Like I said, I'm just starting this channel. I really, really would love your support from the YouTube community. So, as always, subscribe, hit the like button on the videos. 3 things: like, subscribe, comments,
Hit the bell.
hit the bell. Hit the bell. So, 4 things actually. If you don't want to like the video, that's fine. Just subscribe. I am bringing in more content than wrestling, I promise you. I know the last few videos have been nothing but wrestling. But, again, we're on the road to WrestleMania. It's kind of going to happen. I do want to mention my next video will probably be about superheroes and top 10 list of Marvel and DC.
If you want comic book lore, video games, anime, who knows, anything in between these realms, expect me as well. Because
Yeah.
you probably want,
Somebody with a little bit more of a vast knowledge of
you
certain
probably want a
topics.
weeb's perspective.
Yeah. I do want to talk about today the Rumble and how it broke down and everything.
For sure.
Let's jump into the women's 30 women Royal Rumble match and what we liked, what we did not like, and give it a star system real quick. What did you think?
Main thing that I think of is, why didn't I stick with Roxanne Perez?
Yeah.
Because no one ever would have thought that Roxanne would not only be the runner-up, be the Iron Woman, or be the longest time in a Royal Rumble match for the women record holder.
Yeah. Yeah, you could have definitely got a bonus point if you would have stuck with Perez.
Yep.
But we did not come up with any bonus points before the event, so they weren't able to be used. We usually, so how it works is until the kickoff show and during the kickoff show, until the first match starts, you have a chance to change your answers or to add bonus points. Mm-hmm. We didn't do any of that. I did change my answer before the event.
So did I.
And I'm so glad I did, because we started off with Io Sky, who was my original pick. And I just didn't see them having Io break Rhea Ripley's record 2 years later. Like, I didn't see Io doing it. So, I'm so glad when Io came out at number 1 and didn't end up winning it. Unfortunately, again, I would have loved to see Io Sky win, but we all know how it ended up going down.
Yeah.
I did appreciate the fact that they finally brought in, for her official debut, Jordynne Grace.
Jordynne Grace
from TNA
was absolutely amazing in this Royal Rumble.
Yes. She was one of the surprise ones that I was like, okay, she's finally here. We're finally starting to see WWE Jordynne Grace.
Yeah, and I think that it is absolutely WWE Jordynne Grace, because I did not see a single braid in her hair.
Yeah. And it's subtle things like that we pick up on in WWE, because we also follow other companies and notice like what's going on with them. I may not watch, AEW week to week, but I still know what's going on.
Yeah.
With TNA, same thing. I don't watch TNA, but I still keep up with it to know what the talent's doing there, who's showing up, who's coming back from there. And it was just great to see Jordynne Grace with that deal with TNA, for her to move from one to the other. And like you said, with the braids, that was her distinguished look in TNA, and now that's gone. So it's like, this is WWE versions of Jordynne Grace, and I'm here for it because she's so talented.
I'm glad they did not change her name.
Yeah, and the fact that it's still the same name, and it's just the subtle thing of the braids in the hair. Like, this is WWE Jordynne Grace, and I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
They did troll us. They tried to troll us. They tried with Alexa Bliss, and it was so great to see her back. Finally, since January of last year, it was just so great to see her back in the WWE. When they tried to troll us and say, oh, her return has been scrapped, people were debating on whether it had to do with her family home in Los Angeles with the fires, or maybe she just wasn't ring ready yet. But we all knew that she was going to be there. And when she showed up, that place, that pop,
lit up
the entire Lucas Oil Stadium. It was just magical to hear her music and the fans' admiration, and her ring gear, the tribute to Bray Wyatt. It does have me wondering if they're going to transition her into the Wyatt Six, or if they're going to if that was just her way of giving that respect from Bray Wyatt because of how close they were, and they're going to transition her into something else.
I really hope that the latter is the actual thing that they do, because honestly, I love the Wyatt Six, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't think the Wyatt Six needs Alexa Bliss, and I don't think Alexa Bliss needs the Wyatt Six.
No. No, she needs to be a single superstar again and just focus on building up her character again, and like just I appreciate the fact that she came out and was like seemed to be a face. I think they need to keep her face for a while.
Yeah.
Because she has always kind of been a heel. And to finally see if she can pull off the face gimmick, I want to see that.
Because I have a feeling, like, if Alexa Bliss is involved with the Wyatt Six, then they're just going to call it the Wyatt Bliss.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not here for that.
No. Nope. Star system. How many stars?
I would give it a 3.5
Okay.
out of 5.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 3. It's nothing against women wrestling. It's really not. I'm here for the women's revolution. I support it 100%.
I mean, I would honestly give this Women's Royal Rumble the third best out of all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that. The one thing that killed it for me, so many kip-ups.
So many. So many kip-ups.
We counted 11 kip-ups in one Rumble match. The men had 1.
But that's for later.
That's for later. But the men, I'm not even going to mention who did the kip-up for the men's, because I honestly can't remember who it was.
I think I remember who it was.
But the women had like 5 different women have multiple kip-ups in one within minutes of getting into the ring. It was like, we'll do a move, bam, kip-up. We'll do another move, bam, kip-up.
Like, we get it. You're athletic.
Right. You can do a flip. Ooh, you can jump off the ground from your back to your feet.
It's like, oh, you can use the force off of your shoulders to land on your feet. Nice.
Good job.
I can do that.
I cannot.
And I'm a scrawny little boy.
I cannot. I'm still working on it. I almost can do one. But, needless to say, we get it. You're athletic. You're in the WWE. We already know you're athletic enough to be there. You don't have to show us multiple times with a kip-up.
The fact that MGF did it was probably jumping the shark.
Yeah. Yeah.
For someone who said that they'll never do a kip-up because if they did, it would be jumping the shark. Because everyone can do a kip-up in professional wrestling.
It's kind of 101, you need to be able to do a kip-up.
And then he did it. It was like, all right, we can probably bury that.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like when he did his little face turn and he did the suicide dive through the ropes.
Yeah, that led to nowhere.
Yeah, that led to absolutely nowhere. But yeah, I'll give it a 3. It was still a solid match. I liked the returns. I liked the NXT call-ups a lot more than, again, we'll talk about it later, but the Men's Royal Rumble match, the lack of.
So, anyways, the WWE Tag Team Championship 2 out of 3 falls match between DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns. Street Profits, eh?
Yeah, Street Profits. They wanted the smoke. They got the smoke.
Yeah, and I'm honestly saying this as a bisexual, gender fluid person. Both of them looked really good.
Yeah. They looked... Montez Ford has always been in great shape. And when you get him to being a heel, he's able to turn it to that level. Mm-hmm. Angelo Dawkins, when he first debuted, he was he was kind of like my size, big, broad, had some weight to him, everything like... Now, Angelo Dawkins be working out.
Homie stepped up.
He got ripped. And yes, they were in hoodies, but I've seen them recently in the ring, and they look jacked. And me personally, I love the Street Profits as heels. I really do. They're more vicious. They're more calculated.
When they first turned heel and the new tag team finisher that they did, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of the best tag team finishers of all time.
Yeah. Now, who's to say that they're actually heel? They did attack the face team to like make sure DIY retained.
But they also attacked DIY
They have a reason for it.
because they want to take the titles away from DIY.
Because DIY forced them to miss an opportunity to fight Motor City Machine Guns. I think there might be a potential Elimination Chamber match for the titles, or at least a triple threat match, tag team title match for the titles. Like, it's somewhere in that realm, because you have so many tag teams on SmackDown compared to Raw, so you have the opportunity for it.
Oh, for sure.
Now, with DIY being heels, I think that would be where they would want to go to kind of have moments where DIY is like, oh, this is bullcrap. We shouldn't have to defend our titles like that. We just defended it in a 2 out of 3 falls match. But that's just kind of a heel tactic to use to moan and complain and grovel at the whole situation. They didn't want to do a 2 out of 3 falls match either. I did like that first fall, how they tricked Motor City Machine Guns and thinking they made a tag and they didn't, and they just made it work. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was honestly, like, to me, this was the best tag team match for tag team wrestling
Yeah.
I've
Well, at
ever
least-
seen in this past decade.
I would disagree with you on that.
Like if it's not involving Hell in a Cell or Steel Cage or any of that, it's just a tag team doing tag team wrestling
What killed it for
that
me
is on the main roster. I will say, because let's not get it misconstrued. DIY versus the Revival,
yeah.
greatest tag team wrestling I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I would think that, since Triple H is in charge now, that you would see more tag team wrestling
Yeah.
being tag team wrestling. But last night is honestly what is at its pinnacle.
If there wouldn't have been outside interference, I would agree with that. But they had in outside interference, and it caused it to lose a little bit of its, like, for me, it was a 4-star match. It would have been higher. It would have probably been 4.5, close to 5, if they wouldn't have had the Street Profits come out. But they wanted to add them into the mix. I think they just could have done it the next night or the next SmackDown. They could have had the Street Profits get involved.
And I am inclined to agree with you. And I do agree with you on some parts of it.
Yeah.
I give it a 4.5 stars because the amount of chain wrestling, especially it being a tag team match,
Yeah.
all the chain wrestling that went on throughout the entire match
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm always a sucker for tag team wrestling. Mm-hmm. Always have been, always will be. And the amount of tag team wrestling, amount of chain wrestling that I've seen in a tag team match, I was all on board. I'm giving it a 4.5.
Yeah.
Only because, yeah, the Street Profits weren't necessarily needed
Yeah.
in that part.
No.
If anything, I would have imagined Los Garzas and Pretty Deadly to be involved, not the Street Profits.
Yeah. Or even have them attack after the match.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something like
After
that.
the match, after the bell
match,
rang.
Sure, bring in the Street Profits. That would have been a nice little, DIY celebrating, and then Street Profits music hit. They're looking out, around the corner, which again, I don't like the entrance of the corner turn, but
Yeah.
whatever. But
sure.
have them looking out at the entranceway, like, where you at? And then have Street Profits come in from behind them and attack them. That would have been great.
Yeah.
And the simple fact, another reason why I give it a 4 is it kind of felt rushed because of the next 2 matches that happened. It kind of felt like it was just, they did the first fall. Okay, let's get Motor City Machine Guns to get the second fall. And then, okay, let's hurry up and get to the finish of, Shenanigans. It lost its luster with the interference and with the fact that they didn't get enough time to showcase what they were actually able to do. That chain wrestling was beautiful, but there wasn't enough of it.
Yeah.
They had that chain wrestling in the beginning of the match, but they didn't really do that anymore afterwards. But it was still possibly, given what we might talk about here in the next 2 matches, I think it might have the highest star rating for the night.
So, speaking of the next 2 matches, the WWE Undisputed Championship
Ladder match.
Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
What a match.
Yeah. Like, immediately right out the gate, they did the little, walk around, listen to the fans, because, the fans want to pick their sides immediately. And, you had one half Cody, one half Kevin, because as much as you want to hate Kevin Owens, he's really good at his job.
And a workhorse.
Like, he puts on, steal this from Sheamus, banger after banger after banger. And it's just beautiful, especially ladder matches.
Oh, for sure.
They said something on the kickoff show. It was Kevin Owens' 10th ladder match. So if you want to give it a match specialty, like in 2K, where they do My GM mode and they give you a match specialty, Kevin Owens' match specialty is definitely a ladders match. His ability to take bump after bump on the edges of ladders, and it's just beautiful art.
Mm-hmm.
As a whole, the match was just fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
It never really lost its momentum. The momentum never really died. It just kind of gradually built up more and more intensity, especially towards the end of the match with that spot on top of the announce table through that ladder. Kevin Owens, the balls on that man to take a shot like that, to take a move like that, the Alabama slam, paying homage. Cody paid homage, and I said it last night when I watched it. That's funny because his first tag team partner was Hardcore Holly, who would do the Alabama slam.
Sparky plug.
And just that ability for Kevin to be like, oh, I could take that. And the way he landed it, the way he sold it, Looney Tunes almost. Mm-hmm. And he just laid there and he was done. And you knew he was done. The one thing I didn't really care for was that one spot in the ring with the suplex Kevin gave Cody, which, again, the ball's on Cody to take a bump like that.
Oh, yeah.
They almost stopped the match. It felt like they were going to stop the match.
Yeah, it almost felt like it, but...
I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, at the same time, I feel like both Kevin and Cody would have been like, are you serious? Shut up.
Yeah, go away. We're fine. It didn't seem like, yes, the move looked brutal, and yes, Kevin did hit the, back of his neck, back area on the edge of that little ladder. Cody obviously took the blunt of it with him hitting the most of the ladder. I didn't like how Sami Zayn came out. If he would have actually done something, it would have been worth it.
Yeah.
But he just stood there.
Yeah.
And when Cody was finally climbing the ladder to grab the titles, why didn't he just grab the thing off the hook? Like how most people do in a ladder match. And with the, unification. They usually just grab the thing with both titles still hanging, and he literally was like, "Oh, I'll grab one title, and then I'm gonna grab another." Kevin wasn't moving.
He thought it was a tag team match.
Nah, something like just grab the hook, pull it out of the thing. Like it's simple, just grab it. But and you've kind of seen in the background Sammy kind of like wanting to move, but he didn't. And it's like, then why are you out there? Why did you come out? Like, it was a big bump, but it wasn't that severe of a bump for Sammy to come out and then do nothing. Like I said, if he would have actually got involved and tried to stop Cody, then we'd have been having a totally different conversation.
You pretty much just said exactly what I want to say. But if you still have more to say, I can immediately tell you my star rating for this match.
I think we need to just go into the star because we still got the 30-man Royal Rumble match.
3 stars.
I'm going to give it a 3.5. It only missed out on the 4 because, again, Sami Zayn, there was no point for him to come out.
The only reason why I'm giving it a 3 is because they're kind of teasing a Cody heel turn, because if they didn't show that, then I would have given it a 2.
Yeah. They were kind of definitely showing signs of Cody turning heel.
And who knows, maybe that's after Mania.
Yeah, I could see him turning at Mania. I could see him turning after Mania.
Like the Raw after Mania.
Mania, yeah. He'll do something at Mania, and it will be like, oh, is he turning heel? And then he comes out Monday or Friday, that next Friday.
It says, "Doy."
Yeah, like, screw you guys. I'm doing this on my own. I don't need y'all support, blah, blah, blah. Because the heel Cody Rhodes.
Screw The Rock.
The heel Cody Rhodes is magic.
So do we want to get into the 30 men's Royal Rumble?
Oh, for sure. It's the last match we need to get into. And we're going to get into it real quick.
Oh, buddy.
Jey Uso.
Jey Uso.
That nickname is no longer a nickname. It is a staple in his character now, officially. WWE's ability to know when the fans are starting to get tired of certain things.
Who would have seen it coming?
Would
you have seen this?
I had the
winning the Royal Rumble?
I had it as a possibility. I had 6. I had 6 men with the possibility of winning.
But where was he?
Middle.
Probably 4, 3?
3 or 4.
Not number 1.
No. I had Roman. I had the one. I had Roman Reigns, and I was kind of surprised that Roman didn't make it even into the Final 4.
I was surprised that Roman Reigns came out at number 16.
That was what killed me. I heard his music at number 16, and I was like, well, darn. I'm not getting this match right. However, before the 30-man Royal Rumble, we had established that I had already retained the title.
Yeah.
So I really wasn't needing Roman Reigns to win to retain the title. I just kind of wanted to get that full sweep, and it just didn't happen.
No.
But who's still champion?
Shut up.
Anyway, like I said earlier, with the Women's Royal Rumble, there wasn't really any returns, any major... Oh, wait. Say his name, and he appears?
We believe in
Joe Hendry? Finally. It was rumored that he was going to be there, and it was great.
And he came out with the TNA World Championship.
Yes. But that was it. But I understand it. It had been weeks talking about this as the most star-studded Royal Rumble.
It was stacked.
It
was stacked.
Like I said, I had 6 people who could have easily won that match.
I only had 3. And
I had Roman Reigns, John Cena, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and Jey Uso. I had Jey Uso too. Like I said, he was number 3 or 4. I seen it because of the matchup that they had at Saturday Night Main Event with Jey Uso and Gunther, and him saying, I know I can beat him. So I seen it. But I just didn't think they were going to pull the trigger, because I thought they were going to be setting up a triple threat match with Roman winning and CM Punk cashing in his favor. But who knows where that's going to go now. But
meanwhile, I only had 3 participants that I thought was going to win, which was CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and John Cena.
Yeah. And John Cena, hey, that man entered at number 23 and made it to the final 2.
And honestly, throughout those 3 participants that I chose, 2 of them were in the final 4.
Yeah. Yep.
One of them was in the final 2.
Yep. One was the runner-up.
Yeah.
When it got down to the final 2, we had both... I told him I was really going to be happy with either one.
Yeah.
It didn't matter who won, because I would have been here. I would have stood up like I did, gave it a round of applause like I did.
I straight up said I want Jay to win.
Yeah.
I straight up said I want Jay to win. I don't want Cena to win, because I don't want him winning 3 Royal Rumbles.
Yeah, he would have tied Stone Cold Steve Austin's record of 3-time Royal Rumble match winner.
I did not want him to do that.
I think it would have been great.
I would have at least wanted CM Punk, obviously, to at least get one Royal Rumble win.
Yeah.
Or Jey Uso when the match was going on.
Yeah.
And thank God John Cena didn't win, because you know how I feel about the number 23.
Yeah. So my thing is, I would have loved it, because can you imagine him ending his career with not breaking Ric Flair's record, and all he has is the ability to tie a record?
I feel like that's exactly what's going to happen. Like, he's doing this farewell tour, and he's still going to be without the 17th world champion.
Yeah. So, if he would have won last night, he would have tied Austin's record, and he already has tied Ric Flair's record, even though Ric Flair actually has more. Like, that number's kind of diluted down to make it achievable. But if he would have won the Rumble and tied that record and still has that tied record with Flair,
he would have main evented WrestleMania again, and we honestly don't want that. I don't.
I think he deserves it, but a lot of other people deserve it too. And who's to say, like, if we're talking about it honestly, the main event of WrestleMania, they throw the main event word around loosely, because there was a PLE recently that they were like, oh, it's a double, or we have 3 main events tonight. No, you have 1. Main event is the final match of the show. It's the main event.
And now that you have 2 nights,
yeah,
you have 2 main events.
And you're going to have 2 main events inside of that main event.
Like, and honestly, the main event should be World Heavyweight Championship and the Undisputed Championship.
Okay, so you have 2 main events, and then you're going to call the women's match a main event. And it's like you lose the prestige of...
Hell, you can even start the night 1 with the World Heavyweight Championship and main event it with the Women's World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah. And then do the exact opposite. You know,
the WWE Women's Championship, and main event be the WWE Undisputed Championship.
Because, and here's the thing, you don't put the main event on the first match card, or on the first match in the card. You don't call that the main event. That's the opener.
And since Jey Uso is probably going to be picking Gunther.
Yeah. So, I see him main eventing night 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Either night 1 or honestly, if we're being serious, opening
Night
one.
2.
I'm saying night 1.
Oh.
I'm saying opening night 1, and the main event of night 2 is going to be Cody versus Roman versus CM Punk.
So you think they're still going to go with that?
Yeah. Especially after Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, Roman being in the Elimination Chamber.
And CM Punk.
And then eventually, I think
I feel like that the Elimination Chamber is going to be a draw between Roman and CM Punk.
I don't think it's going to be a draw. I think Roman...
I feel like they're going to do some, like, wacky shenanigans to make it that triple threat match.
Again, that wacky shenanigan would be CM Punk's favor with Paul Heyman. That still has to be cashed in. And I'm going to stick with what I predicted to happen at the Rumble for the Elimination Chamber, probably. I'm going to have Roman probably win, and then the next night, CM Punk, it's going to come down to Roman and CM Punk. Roman's going to get the win, and Punk's going to be like, hey, Heyman, I'm going to cash in that favor now. So... So, YouTube, we're about to wrap this up, and we will be back with another video, hopefully soon, for the Elimination Chamber.
I give the Royal Rumble an A-.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the grade. Yeah. I give it a B+. I'm a little harsher with it, because the Royal Rumble itself, for the men's, out of stars... I give it a 4.
I give it a straight up 4.9.
I give it a 4.
It's so close to being a 5-star Royal Rumble, but certain things happened, like, I don't know, Logan Paul eliminating CM Punk and being the final third.
Yeah.
That made it a 4.9.
I liked Logan Paul being in the final 4.
I didn't like him being 30.
I didn't like him being 30. But, alright, YouTube. We're going to get off here. We're going to have another video coming up shortly. It's probably going to just be me, but
I love you.
Safe.
I love you. You, and you. And you. I see you. I love you.
We both love you. Goodbye, YouTube, for now.